From the 13th Floor Elevators to Daniel Johnson, Red Crayola, Willie Nelson, and the Butthole Surfers, Texas has been pumping out those great, toasty, trippy, guitar-based jams for a while. I could go on forever about Texas's output of music and musicians, but today we're here to honor one of the greatest guitar groups to come out of the Lone Star State, Bubble Puppy. Too metal to be psychedelic, but also too psychedelic to be metal. Bubble Puppy was a hard, rockin' guitar-based group who had their first show opening up for The Who in 1966 at the Freeman Coliseum in San Antonio. Bubble Puppy has gone through some lineup changes, a name change at one time, and is now rocking out South Texas once again. That is until their final concert on June 25th. In honor of the legacy of Bubble Puppy, I'm going to do some deep dives into both the discography of the band and the wider discography of the band members. The founding members of Bubble Puppy are Rod Prince on guitar, Todd Potter on guitar, Roy Cox on bass, and David Fore on drums. The current and final lineup of Bubble Puppy is Rod Prince, Mark Miller, Gregg Stegall, Jimi Umstattd, and Randall Maxwell. I thought this would just be a short video about Bubble Puppy, but I keep uncovering more and more music these guys have put out. There's so much material out there needs to be a Bubble Puppy book. But for right now, one of the most authoritative biographies out there is on the Bubble Puppy webpage itself, written by Rod Prince. Rod Prince was a founding member of the legendary Corpus Christi-based garage rock band The Bad Seeds. Both Rod Prince and Todd Potter were in the post-Bubble Puppy band Sirius, who released a single album, Rising. Todd Potter released a solo album, The Bell, in 2004, and has 2 singles up in iTunes, Graduation Day and Canon and D Guitar. And Roy Cox headed up the Austin-based blues rock supergroup The Bluesknights and the NYC Outlaws before passing away in 2013. And David Fore recently released a solo album in 2018 titled The History of Bacon. It's available on Bandcamp in digital and physical formats. The debut Bubble Puppy album was A Gathering of Promises. Track 1, Hot Smoke and Sassafras. The classic opener, a big single, the song covered by so many bands, what the kids today call a banger. The high energy gets the blood pumping, it gets the feet moving, it gets the bong bubbling. The guitar duo shred, wail, and burn their way through this track. The vocals burst in with classic psychedelic lyrics.
In the midst of sassafras, many things will come to pass, and the smoke shall rise again to the place above where it began.
The breakdown in the middle of a song is both a breather and a slow burn as this wild horse finishes the race. The final guitar chord hangs in the air and sigs perfectly into the next song.
Some time ago, my mind began to grow.
Track 2, Todd's Tune. Incredibly lyrical guitar figures accompany the vocals on this Todd Potter composed track. It's pure momentum from the start with seamless transition from gentle ballad to burning rocker. The guitar tone is top-notch, the bass tone is killer, and the ride cymbal holds the whole thing together. Lyrically, it touches on longing and accepting that sometimes our memories and associations with those memories may be the only connections we have with those who used to be in our lives.
It's music for all of my time, so things won't catch up with my mind. So I'll still have hope you'll be mine. Yeah. It looks like we'll never be together, but I'll still have.
The song was re-recorded for the second covert Bubble Puppy album released under the name Demian.
It's the only way we're gonna get along. It's the only way we're gonna get along.
Track 3, I've Got to Reach You. At nearly 8 minutes, this is proper pre-prog psychedelia. Guitar riffs hang in the air like smoke trailing off toward the ceiling. It jams hard, and those hand claps before the breakdown, pure enthusiasm. last burst of hope, one last hope for togetherness. Another song of longing, trying to find connection and reaching out one last time before losing touch.
I've got to reach you before you go.
Track 4, Lonely. Pure psych rock with the swagger to match. The vocals and the riffs switch off between leading this carriage, passing the baton perfectly until it culminates in a scorching instrumental break. The drumming skills of David Fore are the glue that hold this whole thing together with every dynamic in the spectrum. Track 5, A Gathering of Promises. Gorgeous instrumental work weaves together to create the backing for the excellent vocals on this track. Pensive, reflective, forlorn, meandering yet focused, a breather among all these burners, from hot smoke to cooling coals. This track has a co-writing credit from Mike Taylor, Prince's previous bandmate in the Bad Seeds.
It's such a gathering of emptiness.
Track 6, Hurry Sundown. I don't know if you've heard, but it gets hot under the Texas sun. Most people just stay home until after sundown, and that's when life gets moving. Hurry Sundown highlights that push and pull of trying to fit together an entire day into the few brief hours between the sun setting and bedtime before your day job the next morning. The song has both the soft, sweet feelings of Gathering of Promises and the smoke and riffs and jams of Hot Smoke and Sassafras packed into 4 minutes.
Though it hurts to know it, I know my face won't show it come sundown. Oh, hurry, hurry, sundown.
Track 7, Elizabeth. A blazing riff kicks this off before collapsing into classic rock rhythms and early prog segments. The transitions have more in common with Bach-era classical music than any other contemporaries to my ear. It's so many things in 3 minutes, but it hits them all so gently and passionately and perfect.
Guess that I will have to walk alone.
Track 8, It's Safe to Say. The sweet sounds of It's Safe to Say, serene, sentimental, satiated, satisfied. The sundown from 2 tracks ago has finally arrived. The blood slows, the pupils dilate to soak in more ambient light. The bong is bubbling once again after a hard day at work. The guitar tone here is so round and gentle, it's like a whisper and carries the vocals so gently. This is the only track off the album credited in full to a non-band member, being scribed by Jay Mings of the garage band The Pack, who seemed to have only released a single 7-inch in 1965.
Known you. If today my life falls through, and it's safe to say I love you, 'cause girl, you know I do.
Track 9, Road to St. Stephen's. Nimble and peppy, jaunty and bouncy, jangly guitars before 80s college rock. One of the more classic rock-feeling songs on the album and simultaneously one of the most forward-sounding songs. The chorus feels like it could go on a Television or Velvet Underground album with the slight change in guitar tone. If you crunch that tone and turn it up, you would get early grunge. Just a reminder that Bubble Puppy had a prescient ear for musical styles.
My life's away. Fire the grass, the wind is blowing through the meadow. That's the sunshine, shining, shining, shining day.
Track 10, Beginning. At the end, we have Beginning, where the shredding takes off and keeps your toe tapping and or head banging. The classic Bubble Puppy formula plays this album out. Chill, confident vocals backed by killer instrumentation. Top-notch riffage and solos ending with the fade out, leaving you wanting more. A perfect time to flip the album to side A again, or pull out the Demian record.
Tomorrow, the sun will touch the trees 1,000-fold.
If you buy the special 18-track version of Gathering of Promises, you get even more songs. If I Had a Reason, which was released as a B-side to the beginning single. Days of Our Time and Thinkin' About Thinkin', which were released as a single together.
The days of our time, things were better.
And What Do You See, released as a single with Hurry Sundown as a B-side.
Do you see when you look at me?
That version of the album also contains bonus mono mixes of Hot Smoke and Sassafras, Lonely, Hurry Sundown, and Beginning. Bubble Puppy also released a CD in the early 2000s, just titled Hot Smoke. This album contained a handful of early Bubble Puppy tracks not released before, including Grand Illusion, Methadone Blues, Hard Livin', and Bound to Pain. Bubble Puppy also reconnected and got together again in 1984 to record Wheels Go Round, where they have a few new songs and some old songs packed together on that album. And Bubble Puppy's latest and possibly last album with the current lineup, Certified Badass. And be sure to be there at Austin's Saxon Pub for Bubble Puppy's final performance on June 25th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., dubbed Hurry Sundown, The Last Ride.